Thanks for staying with us. It's Tuesday, so we have to have something on health. Joining us now is a mental health advocate, Tinuke Erogbogbo. She will be speaking on how to manage people with mental disorder. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Tinuke. It's good to have you on the show.
It is great to be here.
Yeah.
It's lovely to see you, Mariah, Tokwe, Nima, and Yeni.
Yeah.
Your lovely faces in
Thank
person.
you. Thank you. So we're talking mental health, and mental health is something we've been discussing a lot in recent times. Many people are now facing the reality that mental health is real. Many of our loved ones are actually undergoing therapy at some level. But in Nigeria, it's really difficult for people to talk about these things. In your work as a mental health advocate, what have you seen, especially within Nigerians, in talking about mental health, access to help in this kind of situation?
So I will start by saying that the reason why I got interested in mental health because somebody close to me had a mental health crisis while I was in Nigeria, and it was hard to find resources. We hear a lot of times when they talk about different awareness events or things like that, but then after the awareness, what next? Who do I talk to? And I know you mentioned mental health disorder, but there's a whole spectrum of mental health, from being healthy, stressed, struggling, to full-blown crisis. And in all that spectrum, there's need for self-care. Like you might think, okay, I'm fine, but you still need, we all go through different types of traumas that we just, our culture pressures us to sweep it under the carpet. Right. And we think, oh, there's nothing, till it becomes a full-blown crisis. So I believe that everybody should be doing something about their mental health, whether you feel like, oh, the person is in crisis, or you feel like you're okay. So for me, my advocacy is about what are the resources that I can use to support my self-care? What are the resources available for people in my environment that are going through struggling, to advocacy, to those that are interested in even taking care of their loved ones. And that's one of the reasons why I came up with this platform through the help of different mental health practitioners in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria.
Okay, I wanted to know, just as you were talking about how we deal with it here, my experience or what I have seen is that Nigerians have two institutions that I know of in the southwest here, one in Yaba, one in Ogun State, Aro. And we believe that lock them up, carry them, lock them up. And some of us have seen depicted culturally that wherever they lock them up, chain them down, flog them every day, they will conform, they will heal, give them concoctions and beat them to order. So what has been your experience in researching how we've dealt with people who have mental health issues, some people who have full-blown schizophrenia, who are dealing with, living with such conditions? What have you found out that we are doing? Have we improved, or is it still what I think it is?
So during my research of trying to find resources, I looked into different things. Part of what I looked into was what the World Health Organization is doing in Nigeria and the research that, results from the research that they did. And in Nigeria, the first point of contact for anybody in crisis is usually they go to their pastor, they go to their imam,
100%.
they go to the traditional rulers.
Civil attack.
Yes, that's what is believed. So we need to meet people where they're at. So what the World Health Organization was doing is actually going to those places where you say people are being changed, going to the pastors that people are going to and saying, refer your worst cases to us. Part of what they were realizing also is that, yes, people are being changed. They're putting this concoction of holy water, but they're buying tranquilizers and putting those tranquilizers in the so-called holy water and giving people. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done. Part of it is awareness, but part of it is also equipping people like you and me, so that we can know where to take people to, where to refer people to, how to take care of people, how to advocate.
Where do we take them?
So the platform has what I now discovered is there's so many resources in Nigeria, so many therapists, so many hospitals, so many elderly care facilities or homes, or people that can come into homes and take care of elderly people. There are so many different advocates. And that was what we did we compiled all these different resources.
So I
and
know
it's
your
a yearly
NGO
project.
came up with it, like DOA project, right? DOA partnerships. They came up with a platform to help people have access to these people. Tell us about that
tell us the
format.
platform.
Tell us about the platform.
So doing good work in Africa is another, I call myself a social do-gooder. So I have several different platforms. But this is actually a CSR from my luxury retail business that I run with my mom. Yeah. Like, we're really passionate about mental health. Right. And we've helped specifically Lagos State Psychiatric Home Hospital with so many different things. But I wanted to scale it up to the next level. I wanted to be able to, we can't do it alone. Empower other people, put in structure and processes so that other people can become advocates. So the platform is actually, we started off with like a clickable PDF, but now we have a website that has resources of just places you can call to get information or to talk to somebody online. Because apparently, Mentally Aware Nigeria initiative, they actually have a DM therapy session where they engage with, you could chat with people in crisis. I didn't know that. They actually take volunteers locally and internationally that could help them. So there's so many different resources that we were able to compile into this
all
platform.
Sort of resources together in one place. So if you go there, you see all the access, the opportunities you can use to get health or help.
Exactly.
So I wanted to, when we talk about mental health, we then talk about when things have really maybe broken down. Somebody is talking to themselves, or they cannot control themselves, they're stripping and all of that. But there are many other mental issues that are subtle, but are causing ripple effects. So I volunteer for a fertility community that helps families waiting to get pregnant. And in the fertility conference over the weekend, a mental health specialist came and was talking about how, in many cases, for families that do not have any reason not to have children, they found out that mental health was the reason they didn't have. Sometimes the pressure of getting, the emotional pressure of I want to get pregnant, I want to get pregnant, I want to get pregnant, and then everything is not working as it should. And there's nobody talking about that part when we talk about fertility challenges. We always talk about, let's check if there is egg, let's check if there is low sperm count. We're not checking, let's check how the husband and wife are feeling. And I'm hoping that this platform would also encourage help for such stress-related mental challenge.
Exactly. So there are different special therapists or hospitals or different resources that specialize in different things. There's some that are free, there's some that are paid, there's some that are, like I said, it's the trainings or places where people can walk into or call. But one thing I want to stress is that you made a specific example, but we all have struggles. We all have challenges.
Yes.
We all have different things. Yes. But I mean, that is something you could have a conversation with your therapist about. Yeah. And she'll be able to walk you through thinking logically about it or feeling empowered to actually do something about it. Or come up with options.
They won't be able to take all of us.
They won't.
We're plenty. We can't take us. Plenty. All
right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we're going to see, because you see, I know that you're trying to get people help, but it's not just about saying go to the hospital, go and call somebody. You're saying go to the platform, right? Look for the various options available. At least people have somewhere to go to help. But there's still that question of when is the right time to seek for help. I still have our mental health advocate, Tinuke Erogbogbo Oyeniyi, with us. Thanks for staying with us. So, I was going to ask, because in Nigeria, you know, people say women, we're multitaskers, you know, we're able to take it all in. You know, it's a woman's pride that you're able to take the kids to school, go to work, go back to handle business, and take their family, go to shopping, cooking. And at some point, it becomes really stressful. But they tell you to suck it up. Hey, you're the woman of the house. You're the nurturer, the one to care for everybody, family. So my question is, at what point does a woman in particular know it's time for me to rest? And what does rest look like? Because many of us think, oh, just go to the spa, get your nails done. But some people are like, that's not rest. So how do you even define what is rest for you? And at what point do I come to a website to look for help?
Great question. So everybody is different, right? Like you said, going to the spa might work for me. Like I was just in South Africa and my friends were going on the safari. I'm like, I'm not into seeing lions. So different things work for different people.
Right.
And I think a lot of times you have to start with self-awareness. What are my triggers? What do I like? How do I create boundaries? And those are things that you can work on now. Whether you feel healthy or not, you should be talking to a professional. You should be working on creating a plan for self-care, figuring out who you are. What does self-care look like for me? And how can I provide self-care for myself within my means?
Right, right.
So the answer is now.
So by self-care, you mean have a doctor, someone you visit, or what do you call them? Counselor, therapist, someone you see. Is that what you mean? And you know, if that's what you mean, how do Nigerians have access? Because it's an expensive something here.
We see it as an expensive. Put it right.
It's we that see it.
We see it as an expensive. I mean, there's some things we...
It's expensive now.
Seeing a therapist, even abroad, seeing a therapist is not cheap. Does insurance cover it?
Insurance does cover
therapy,
it,
okay.
Abroad. They're also if you go to the platform Mental Health for All Resources, ng.com, there are free opportunities, free resources, whether it's a therapy, whether it's going to a hospital, whether it's elderly care that you need. There are free opportunities aside from the paid opportunities. But what I would say is that in the platform, when you go to the platform, when you're searching, there is broken up into different areas, different localities. It's also broken up into online. Most of the time, the online resources are mostly free because we open up the online to not just in Nigeria, but outside of Nigeria. Okay. Sometimes the phone lines are also free where you talk to somebody and they can refer you to someone. One of the things that we are trying to do as a way to scale this program down the line is to create some kind of an escrow that we can then sponsor people that are interested in being advocates to get certified, and also sponsor individuals in terms of getting therapy.
That's good to hear, because when it comes to mental health, people like to be discreet. They don't want anybody to know that they are sick or they're having issues. So when you know you can go somewhere, you can get someone to speak to, that's a good thing.
Online platform.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tokwe. No, because I was driving to work today and I saw terrible queues in the traffic, terrible petrol queues. And I saw one man, he had bought from the keg, and the look on his face was like thunder. Obviously, that guy is not a happy guy because he has suffered. So, are we saying half of Nigeria needs this?
No, the whole of Nigeria.
The whole,
at least the whole, because we are suffering this petrol crisis.
I think,
So this your platform, is it?
I need to take 200 million. 200 million.
probably not, but we have to start from somewhere
Yeah.
with everything. At one point, I mean, when I was searching, I couldn't find a platform that would give me a bunch of different resources and a platform that would be able to figure out how to do due diligence, ask the right questions to get to the right person that is a fit for me. Just like physical health. You go to your doctor, and well, you should go to your doctor at least do a physical once a year. The same thing. You should be talking to a doctor or a practitioner of the mind at least once a year.
Right.
So it's question and comments. It's just that whenever we think about mental health, we tend to stereotype it, and I'm trying to broaden our minds to different wide options of why we need this. With parenting, a lot of parents go through having children that they find out are addicted to something or the other, and they don't know how to go about it. What do? They consult pastor and imams to do some deliverance, where in actual fact they might be able to benefit from having access to a mental care practitioner to talk to the child and give therapy out of that addiction. So things like addiction. I was watching a movie and I saw how therapy helped a lady navigate her bad character. So she ends up in bad relationships without knowing she was triggering that as a safety measure. And through therapy, this is someone who is, so you can be single in your late 20s or late 30s and you don't know why you keep picking the wrong men. You might just end up having your issue through therapy. So mental health does not mean until you are hearing voices in your head or you wait until you are so sad, there is depression. When you are facing everyday life challenge, having a therapist to talk to helps you to sort them out.
You know what I don't like is that Gen Zs today is all about mental health.
Yep.
That's their focus. Everybody wants to be happy, their joy. I don't want anybody stopping or triggering my mental health. And can these young people also find help? Because in this place, because how young is the accessibility to your platform, for example? Can a young person, a teenager who feels that, listen, I can't talk to my mom, I can't talk to my aunties, I talk to my daughter, they're all just, I just don't like them. They don't get it, right? Can a young person, are you talking to schools to see how they can also help in getting young teachers and teenagers who might be in need of some kind of conversation on mental health to be able to access the websites also, or is it only for adults?
Good question. So the platform is for everyone.
Okay.
And you made a great point. You also made a great point in terms of meeting where people are at, going to the schools, going to the pastors. In fact, part of the individuals, mental health practitioners that are put together, one of them is a pastor, Pastor Emmanuel Oyeniyi. He's a mental health advocate in Nigeria. There were other psychiatrists and social workers from around the world that are Nigerians that I brought together. But on the platform, there's specialized resources also. There are therapists that specialize in marriage, in infertility. There's therapists that specialize in teenagers. There's therapists that specialize in drug addiction. So there are different resources, even the phone lines, different spectrums from marriage counseling to help with navigating corporate. I think I recently told you that I went back to corporate 2 years ago.
There's a question here for you on Twitter. Honorable Ademola, he says, talking about mental health, many Nigerians are dealing with mental health that might not be visible. Please help me ask your guests if this platform they have caters for those in rural areas where they don't have immediate access to mental health care.
It caters to everyone. Now, the platform empowers those that can go on the platform.
Right.
And our hope is that we're creating advocates from this that can now take the information and go to those that can't access the platform.
For example, someone like a Nima or like Muriel that lives in some corner in Lagos can say, okay, let me go to the website. I've gotten XYZ, this not phone lines. I can now go back to my community, maybe my small church, my small group area, my school that I'm teaching. I say, guys, you can go to these places to help.
The free training she talked about, after that training, take it to the rural area.
Exactly.
Do an outreach. Go to
based on
or
information
just publicize the website. I've had plenty of people reach out to me that I should coach them because they see me on social media as a life. But then I say, I know myself. Yes, I'm a trained life coach, but I don't offer one-on-one coaching session. I don't have the temperament or the strength to go through that. But I'm always recommending. So this is just another added platform that we can recommend to people, and other people should pay it forward as well. So
I have to wrap up with you, but what are your general thoughts on mental health? Because especially, what do you hope to achieve in the next few years? What are your dreams on this as being an advocate for mental health? Because as we said, YK said that we're all stressed out in this part of the world. I mean, the stress in Nigeria goes through. When you go abroad, it's like easy peasy because hey, you can be that bad. You can make it in Lagos, you can make it anywhere in the world. But we have somewhat we are accustomed to this way of life. Well, what do you hope to see in the next 5-10 years as an advocate of mental health?
I know. I'm like, when I come to Nigeria, and before you know it, I'm shouting like everybody's shouting. I feel like everybody is like a pressure cooker about to pop. But everybody needs to start now in some sort of way. I told you that I call myself a do-gooder. And I'm always looking to create structures and processes to empower people so that other people can realize their potential, do good work, and pay it forward. So for me, my plan is to continue to scale this, continue to create advocates, bring awareness to the platform and the resources that we have in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria.
We have resources in Nigeria.
We do have. Do we have enough for everyone? Probably not.
Yeah, but we do have.
But we do have. So let's start with what we have. Let's start with even the international resources
Right.
that we can access online and create more advocates, go beyond just creating awareness, and then those people can pay it forward.
Fantastic. I think that's all we can do.